everyone. I'm excited to be here. I'm a professor at the University of Oklahoma, and I teach physics, and I also do physics research. And it wouldn't be fair to you if I didn't tell you a little bit about my research. And so I'm going to do that first, and then we're going to talk about this subject, do science and the Bible conflict. So I am a professor. You'll want to take notes. There will be a quiz at the end, and so make sure you get this down. You all know that the universe is made of atoms, and atoms have at their center something called the nucleus, and nuclei are made of neutrons and protons are made of things called quarks. People come to me and say, I've never heard of quarks. When were they discovered? 1974, so you should know about them. Don't just, be satisfied when your chemistry teacher tells you the world is made of neutrons and protons. Make sure you know it's made of quarks. But anyway, I spend my life studying the structure of the proton, the quarks inside the proton. Now, suppose I want to know what the proton is made of. Suppose you wanted to know what your car was made of, and you had no tools to take your car apart, no screwdrivers or wrenches or pliers. What would you do to figure out how your car is made? Well, you'd get it going really fast, and you'd smash it against another car. And when it does it, it breaks into smaller pieces. If you can drive and you have a car, you should probably do this with your parents' car because you really don't want to smash your car. But this is what we do. At a laboratory near Geneva, Switzerland, there's a tunnel underneath the ground that's 17 miles around. And inside that tunnel, we build these big superconducting magnets. And inside those magnets, we accelerate trillions and trillions of protons to nearly the speed of light. And we get them going one way, and then we get them going another way. And inside a few different places, at certain points, we smash the protons together, and they break into smaller pieces, and we see what they're made of. The detector that sees the debris from these collisions that I work on is called the Atlas detector. Here's kind of a drawing of it, and here's another drawing of it. If you look at the very bottom of the picture, you see the size of people compared to this detector. This thing is gigantic. So the protons come in one way through a pipe, and they come in the other way through a pipe going the speed of light. They smash together, and the computer takes pictures that look like this, and from these pictures we can understand the structure of the universe. So I spent 6 years as a graduate student and 7 years as a postdoctoral researcher so I could understand pictures like this. Now, my dad's already said it, what a waste of time, so you don't have to say it, okay? But no, actually it's quite remarkable that we can understand the structure of the universe by smashing protons together. So that's what I do in my professional life. Do all Christians who believe the Bible agree on God's method of creation? And the answer is no. This is one of the controversial things. And I want to ask three questions. Did God create the universe? Did God use the Big Bang to create the universe? And then finally, is macroscopic evolution true? We'll come back to this later, but macroscopic evolution is the idea that we all evolved from a common ancestor, that that we started with a single cell animal or whatever, and then gradually through the process of random mutation and natural selection, all of life formed. And so Christians have lots of different views on this. There are people we call young earth creationists. And young earth creationists believe that the universe is about 6,000 to 10,000 years old. And they would answer the question, did God create the universe? Yes, he did. Did God use the Big Bang to create the universe? No, he didn't. Does God use macroscopic evolution to create our bodies, humans? And they would say no. And then there's another group of Christians we might call old earth creationists or progressive creationists. And they would answer the question this way, is God the creator? Yes. Did the Big Bang occur? Is that how God created the universe 14 billion years ago? And they would say yes. And the question, but did God then use evolution to create our physical bodies? That they would say no. So some people think if you believe in the Big Bang, you automatically believe in evolution. But those are two very different questions. And many, many Christians believe the Big Bang because of the overwhelming evidence, but still don't believe that evolution occurred. But there are even Christians we would call theistic evolutionists. Theistic means God, that God used evolution to create humans. And they would answer the question, is God the creator? Yes. Did the Big Bang occur? Is that how God made the universe? Yes. And did God use evolution to create humans? And they would say yes. And then, of course, there's a fourth category, which is naturalistic evolution, people who don't believe in God. And that's the biggest difference. The biggest difference is the first question. Did God do it or didn't he? Now, if I was on a high school debate team, and you asked me just from the Bible, not from science, but just from the Bible, to defend any of the first three views, I could probably do it. Any of the first three could be valid interpretations of the account of creation. So, as a good debater, I could tell you why there's good reasons to believe any of the first three views. So they're all biblical. It's not if you believe the Bible, you hold to view X, Y, or Z. It's Christians who believe the Bible hold to all these different views. And that's important, because if Rob had known that, he wouldn't have come to my office and say what he was taught in church conflicts with what he's learning in science. He would have said, wow, I've got options. Which of these is most closely related to Scripture and science? Which of these make the two mesh better? But unfortunately, he was never told that Christians believe different things about how God created the universe and humans. But they do, right? And I think you can handle that truth, right? All right, so do Christians who believe the Bible agree on God's method of creation? No. Bible-believing Christians disagree on God's method for creating the universe and creating humans. The great theologian Schofield said, Scripture gives no data for determining how long ago the universe was created. We have to look elsewhere for the data, because Scripture doesn't tell us.